Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the ATMA podcast, where we give you the tips, tools, and strategies you need to be successful in marketing your business. My name is Brian, and I am the VP of Advent Trinity, and today we're going to be talking about business planning, and what a perfect time to do it, because 2021 is wrapping up, and now we're going into 2022, right? So a lot of people are going to be thinking about creating new businesses or even advancing their business, right? And adapting the new tactics of what they're going to be doing for 2022. Today I got Rolando with me. He's going to be my co-pilot today. Say hello, Rolando.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Awesome. So before we get started, though, we do want to say thank you to our sponsors, of course. Our first sponsor, of course, is Nuvodesk Co-working. It's a collaborative type office area meant to help business owners and entrepreneurs think big. If you're a business owner and entrepreneur that is needing an office space, conference rooms, or just a place to work, visit nuvodesk.com and get a free day pass. Our second sponsor is Southwest Restaurant Equipment. If you're a restaurant owner needing restaurant equipment, any supplies or anything for your business, visit swrequipment.com. You can actually lease out affordable equipment as well. They have leasing programs for you restaurant owners. That's going to be starting up in 2022. Now let's get into the show. Rolando, we're going to be talking about business planning. What do you know about business planning?
Absolutely nothing.
Well, that's good. Let me teach you a little something about business planning. So I have experience in business planning just because, when Ruben and I started the business, we actually did a business plan. And a lot of people, there's a lot of controversial, people saying you don't need a business plan. You just need to go into business. And that's incorrect. That's bad. That's bad advice. Without a plan, you kind of have no direction, right? And the same thing, it's like coming to us and saying, Brian, what are we going to do for marketing? And I don't know. Let's just do this and see what sticks, right? So there's always planning involved. And same thing for a business. A business owner needs to do a business plan. That's just as simple as it is. A business plan is a very thorough, kind of like a, in-depth planning session where you talk about your business, you talk about what your business is all about, your services, your products. What's crazy about this? Okay, let me say something, Rolando. So we build websites, right? Okay, and when we build websites, we ask clients simple questions. Describe your product and service. Give us a mission or vision statement. Tell us about your staff and your bio, right? Tell us about your brand, who you are and who you're not. All of that, if you would have done your business plan, all you got to say is, here's my business plan, here's the content. But most business owners don't do that. They say, I didn't even think about this.
Yeah, which is so crazy because, I feel like you should have that before you go into business.
Well, yeah, it should be a standard thing, but
yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's just not. I don't understand why it's not, but I'm here to tell you, if you're listening to this and you follow us on our podcast and you're not doing a business plan, you need to do a business plan for 2022. Take the time where it's going to be slow. Well, if you're in retail, it's not going to be slow. Oh, yeah. But if you're not in retail, take the time right now. I'm going to do it. I'm actually taking next week, Wednesday and Thursday, right before Christmas, to just plan the 2022 year. Figure out what are some different tactics and strategies we're going to be doing for our business. What kind of different marketing stuff are we going to be doing for our business? What kind of changes do we need to make inside of our businesses? All of that needs to be planned out and structured out, because that way you have a roadmap and everything is going not according to plan, because things don't always go according to plan. It just doesn't happen. So let's talk about when things don't go into according to plan, right? So part of a business plan is a SWOT analysis. Rolando, do you know what a SWOT analysis is?
I do not.
Can you guess what it is?
I have no clue.
You're like, I don't even want to say something. So SWOT analysis, SWOT, it stands for strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Okay. So anytime we do a marketing analysis and we do a discovery for a client and we do a SWOT analysis, we always take a look at the threat, right? You know, what could change the entire aspect of this business? you have to think about what could be a potential threat for our business, because you have to be prepared for it and adapt to it. And if you know that it's coming, you can change a few things here and there and be a little bit more aggressive on sales and marketing, or be a little bit more aggressive on operations, that kind of thing, right? So if you're not doing a SWOT analysis for your business, you look at your strengths, what makes you different, which you should have that anyways. What are your weaknesses? Like, if you're starting your business and, you have competitors, well, what are their strengths and make them, stand out more than you? Some of them, they might have more financial resources in your business. Of course, that's going to be a weakness, right? But what are other weaknesses? Maybe it's staffing. Maybe it's product dominance, right? But what are some opportunities? Is your product or service, different? Is that an opportunity for you to take over the market, right, and stand out? But once again, what are those threats? So you got to think about those threats. Why do people need to plan out? It's because you need to have some sort of structure when you're doing any kind of business. I mean, it's just business 101. Okay. And I always ask this too, like any time that I ask a business owner, what's your budget? They don't have one. They don't have some sort of budget that's the marketing plan is not budget driven. That's a problem.
Yeah, it sounds like a red flag.
It is a red flag. It's like, okay, well, how. So what do you plan on investing in marketing this year? And they're like, well, I don't know. How much does this cost? It doesn't matter what this costs. What I'm asking you is, do you have a marketing plan or budget? No, I don't. Okay. Well, how much do you want to make? Well, I want to make $1 million. Okay. $1 million. So here's some advice, and it doesn't come from me. It's actually a Small Business Development Center, SBDC. On average, a business should invest around 8 to 15% of total revenue into marketing and sales. And so let's just do the math, right? Because 8%, well, I want to stay on the 8%. Well, if you stay on the 8%, there's no guarantee you're going to be successful, and you're not going to be as aggressive. And, so let's stay on 15%, okay? So let's say I want to make $1 million. And you times that by 0.15, right? That's 15%. That means you have to have a budget of $150,000 for the year. Yeah, and some people don't have that because they don't think, I'm just going to have $100 and become a millionaire. I wish life was like that.
I know, right?
I so wish it was like that. But, it's kind of a good example. So, people are saying, well, I want to make, $250,000. Well, if you want to make $250,000 in 2022, which is 250,000, you times that by 1.15. It's 37,500 in marketing and advertising.
What are people's reactions whenever you tell them that percentage?
Well, some of them are like, I can do that. And some of them are like, well, I don't have that money. And then I tell them, are you sure you want to be a business owner?
Yeah, exactly.
Because, the thing is, like, business owners, when you start a business, you either have to invest time or money or both. And if you don't have the money, how are you going to get that money? How are you going to get that capital? Are you going to pull out a loan? And I'll tell you right now, from experience, pulling out a loan for a small business sucks. They'll give you a loan all day, every day for school, which makes no sense, right? That's just the way the world works right now. But, when Ruben and I were trying to get a loan, no. Yeah, it just didn't happen. So, you have to find some financial backing so that you can plan out your expenses, right? And do an entire cash flow analysis and figure out what you're going to be spending, how you're going to be spending it. You got to organize your business, right? How are you going to operate the business? And a business without a plan it's set up for failure. At the end of the day, it's just set up for failure. So you want to make sure that that you're planning for 2022, and that's the big thing is, if you've learned anything in 2021, a lot of people thought COVID was going to go away, and it's here to stay. He's got this new variant out, but people are just, some worry about it, some don't. It's just kind of like a 50-50. Depends on where you're located, that kind of thing. And, that affects buyers.
Oh, for sure.
Right? It affects people the way they buy things online. It affects the way they buy things in person. Do they even go in person anymore? With this whole 2020 COVID thing, and then everybody thought it was going to be over in 2021, and people are like, well, yeah, we're going to do hybrid for a while, but then it's going to be in person. And that's not the case. A lot of things are still hybrid, and a lot of things are still digital, and that's not going to change at all. That's not going to change anytime soon. We're developing things, right? We're developing platforms for clients. We're developing softwares for clients. You're a UI UX designer, Rolando. So tell me what you've seen different in 2020 than you did in 2021.
I mean, I think the main difference is like kind of how you said it. I mean, things were moving remotely, and like no one knew how to operate that, especially for like meetings and whatnot. But like you said, COVID's here to stay, so you got to adapt to those things. So companies are just moving things remotely, and it's going to stay remotely.
Yeah, talk about experience, right? Like, we talked about this too. Like in our company, right? We went from you coming in every single day. Now, how many times a day do you come in?
So I'm in office 2 days a week, and now I'm working from home 3 days a week. And I mean, I personally enjoy it. I feel like my productivity goes up. I'm able to just brainstorm more clearly, and I don't know. Like you said, like our company was able to adapt and kind of learn from that and grow from that.
Right. And so like things like Asana, softwares like Asana, things like Slack, things like Zoom and those kinds of softwares. Do you think that we just like kind of ran into it, or we kind of said, okay, we're going remote? So the first thing is you were here. We had that technology, right?
Mm-hmm, correct.
We had Asana, we had Slack, we had all this, but we didn't implement an entire remote hybrid model until I think a few minutes into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when we decided, okay, so how are we going to do this? How are we going to manage everybody? How are we going to? So we do daily check-ins, weekly, and then on our weekly meetings have changed completely since when you first started, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, we're going to plan out the week. This is what we're going to do. We're going to make sure that things are getting done, and we're implementing new things. And it's just a planning journal, right, for weekly meetings.
Do you just wait till we go into the metaverse? Start having our meetings over there.
Yes, start having our meetings as donkeys and giraffes and weird wild beasts and stuff like that. And so let's talk about that too, right? So we talked about business planning for 2022 and marketing. Marketing is a part of business planning, right? Mm-hmm. So you're planning out your marketing plan for 2022, and the question is, how are you going to adapt to this whole metaverse thing that's about to launch, right? How are you, people, and we talked about this in social media for 2022 is things are changing. Not everybody's on Facebook anymore. Not everybody's on the same platforms anymore. People are on TikTok. People are on Snapchat. People are on different channels, LinkedIn. I had some people, like I was telling, one of my clients is I've noticed that some of our clients and some of our prospects have gone from Facebook to LinkedIn. So how are you adapting? What's kind of strategies? What kind of budgets are you needing? And because you're on different platforms, you're going to need on different platforms is how much is that going to cost? Mm-hmm. And inflation. Think about inflation, because I had this conversation with another prospect as well. You've got to think about inflation. Do you think Google ads cost the same as they did in 2019?
Oh, definitely not.
So why do you think that's happened?
Inflation. Not
even just inflation. Think about it. Think about if everybody's going digital, what happens to the market?
Just gets oversaturated.
Oversaturate. Ding, ding, ding. So what happens? You have to invest more to get to the top.
Yeah.
And now everybody's using Google. Everybody's using Facebook. Everybody's using these channels. How are you gonna adapt your advertising budget? How are you going to do your meetings? Are you going to do Zoom? Or you going to do webinars? Are you going to do summits?
That's the question.
So, when you're doing a business plan and you're thinking about all these things, you've got to you just got to have to do it, right? You kind of have to do it. There's plenty of business plan like templates I mean, if you use like Microsoft Word, I think there's like a template there. But you know, it's about business planning is about you structuring your thoughts. Okay, is a business plan going to be 100% all the time? No, it's not going to be 100% of the time. So I'm actually looking up right now a business a plan template so that people kind of know what to expect when you're writing a business plan, right? So you've got to think about, you know, the summary of your business. You've got to think about your finances. You got to think about your market analysis. So this is important, right? So what is a market analysis is, you know, you'll need a good understanding of the industry outlook and target market, which is part of marketing. Once again, you know, a lot of this marketing planning and business planning, they go hand in hand, you know. So here's a big one. Last year, you probably had 20 employees. Now you probably have 8. How are you going to manage that? And what does your organizational chart look like now, right? And what do you want it to look like in the end of 2022? You know, what kind of financial projections are you gonna have? You know, those kinds of things. Are you gonna have to have new partnerships? Are you gonna have to have new resources? What kind of activities or key activities are you going to start doing? Are you going to do networking? Are you do virtual networking? You can do summits. You know, how is your customer relationships? You know, or do you have email marketing campaigns? Do you meet with them frequently? Customer segments. You know, be specific when you in your target market, and this kind of goes into personas as well. And revenue streams. Where are you getting your money? Have you taken a look? I guarantee you a lot of people that are listening to this podcast, they don't know where their money's coming from. I guarantee it, right? And guys, it's not a shot to you because when I started my business, I didn't know where my money's coming from. Okay? So, yeah, this is and this right here, I just Googled this and it went to straight to the SBA, which is Small Business Administration. But yeah, I mean, you just got to look at this and look tactically at and strategically at your business and figure out what are you going to do in 2022. And that's what we're doing. This literally next week, that's all I'm doing is sitting down and planning out the 2022 plan for multiple businesses here. So, you know, if you're not doing it, you've got to.
What's that saying? If you're not planning, you're planning to fail.
Yeah, that actually, you know what's funny about that? Let me look at my notes. A business without business plan, it will fail. And you just said that.
Yeah, there you go.
Good job, Ron.
Yeah. Thanks,
Reading my thoughts here.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to keep it short this time. I'm actually going to let everybody go on to their vacation. And I know they're going to be going on Christmas break and New Year's break. And so here's some exciting stuff that's going to be happening next year. So next year, this was season 1 of ATMA, Market It with ATMA, which is the podcast that we're doing. And we were just giving some tips, tools, and kind of just raw, you know, podcasting. Next year in 2022, we're going to be doing some interviewing. Okay, we're going to bring in different business owners and ask them how are they marketing their business. And you're going to take a look and you'll get some ideas in how they were able to market their business, but you'll notice that the essentials, the foundation, is kind of uniformed across the board, right? And so everything that we talked about, the customer journey and all that kind of stuff, in this season, that's going to go and play. That's going to come into play when we're listening to our interviewees. And other things that are happening at Trinity is we're coming out with a course. Okay, in 2022, we're going to have Marketing 101 course where you can literally sit down and go through our course and learn exactly what it takes to grow your business. That's going to be a very affordable course, guys. We don't even look for but what one thing we'll teach you guys is that it is a lot of work. And it will take you a lot of time and a lot of effort. And so that's kind of things that are happening in 2022. So we're excited. You know, we're excited to get the ball rolling. So if you're listening to this podcast and you're ready to 2022 rolling, subscribe to our website. Go to adventtrinity.com. We'll let you know when those courses are available. So once again, we do want to say thank you to our sponsors, Nuva Desk Co-working and Southwest Restaurant Equipment, for supporting and sponsoring this podcast. I'm excited for 2022 to come around. My name is Brian, and we will see you next year.